And this is going downhill quick. Then we got to the Nigerian drum match between Big E and Apollo Crews. And, I forgot to mention, they had somebody else sing something else at the start of this program. I have never heard of any of these musical acts. This one I had heard of, Whale. Court Bauer used to do something with him every year. He's a big wrestling fan. I've never heard any of his music. Now I know why. What happened to rock and roll? And where are all the people that listen to it? And why is there nobody perpetrating it on this program?
Well, there's no rock and roll being pushed by any of the record labels into the charts. So the charts is made up by a different caliber of performers, a lot of hip hop, a lot of pop, very little rock. And even if there was a big rock star now, you wouldn't know who they are anyway.
Well, at least I'd listen to them.
There's various styles of music. You got to be open to different
This was the most unlistenable music performances at Wrestlemania that I've ever heard. And not even getting into what poor Rhea Ripley.
No, I think that may be the winner. Quite frankly, Rhea Ripley's entrance.
God almighty.
Well, let's not.
Well, we won't jump ahead because we're still in the Nigerian drum match with Whale.
Isn't it Wale? Is that how it's pronounced?
I don't care. He wrapped old Big E to the ring. We found out what the Nigerian drum match is. They get in the ring. They look at each other. The match starts, and both of them immediately roll out to the floor and get kendo sticks and come back in. And the first moves of this match were the two guys wailing on each other with kendo sticks. Then they went out to the floor and continued wailing on each other with kendo sticks, talking about Whale. And there were drums and cymbals and gongs around the ring. And there's two guys that have not touched each other hand to hand in a wrestling match before they just went out and got kendo sticks and began wailing on each other with them. And I wrote, life is too fucking short. I started speed searching. They used the stairs. They used the tables. They used the chairs. Oh, my. And finally, Apollo Crews splashed himself off the top rope through a table when Big E moved. And Big E hit his finish and was covering the guy when the world's largest college marching band leader hit the fucking ring. He must be the tuba player. He'd be the only one big enough to fucking carry it around. And beat up Big E in front of the referee with him standing there watching it. The announcer said, no DQ. You know what that means, Brian? Lazy booking. And then Crews just covered him and the referee counted it. A garbage match with a garbage finish. And it was in Florida, so it was hot garbage. Can they not do anything except this bullshit? The weapons, the no DQ, heels get no heat because everything's done in front of the referee. It just makes the company look bad and turns the fans off. That anything means anything. That there are any rules or parameters. And that's why we are literally down to the smallest audience that has ever watched professional wrestling since its inception ever. And they just watch it as a hoot to do a fucking live action stunt show. And the people who once enjoyed watching it have been so offended by just this type of thing that they don't care anymore. So that's what that was. What did I miss during the speed search? Did somebody get run over with a goddamn golf cart? Oh, no. I forgot. That's on the other channel.
That was it was on this channel too a few months ago.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. They had to take a better bump off of it.
Did you notice who the big guy was?
Well, yeah, they were acting like they'd never seen him before. How many times you see a motherfucker that looks like that? There was a guy on Raw. Dabo
Kato.
Baba. Double Bubble, Baba Kato.
He was on Raw. Shane McMahon said his name over and over again to the point where I thought it was one of the funniest names ever, Dabo Kato. And now they have no idea who he is. He was just all over their TV. And now they're like, oh, this big man, whoever he is.
dressed as if he just left a marching band. Possibly he's Sergeant Pepper's illegitimate son. I don't know. Dr. Pepper.
So now Apollo Crews has Dabo Kato as his giant, and AJ Styles has Omos or Omos. We know it's not Omax, but we haven't really honed in on what it is.
And they're not even on the show today, so They just got a free plug.
They're not. But Jim, I will say this. You are doing God's work here. There are so many fans that we hear from, so many listeners of the 2 podcasts every week and all the YouTube videos that say, this has been a rough year for me. There's a lot going on. Thank you so much for being there for us. And some people need more than just listening to you rip apart professional wrestling. Some people need someone to talk to.
Some people have real problems.
That's right.
Instead of these self-inflicted problems that the wrestling companies have, or the problems that we have, which are also self-inflicted, and that we do this to ourselves for the good of the people. For the good of the people, we watch sometimes so you don't have to. But if you need to talk about something serious, the last people you'd want to talk to is me and Brian Last, jolly jokers like ourselves that just take the piss out of everything. If you want to have a serious conversation, you can talk to the folks at BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. Whatever your problem, is there something interfering with your happiness, preventing you from achieving a goal? You need somebody to talk things over with. It's not a crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely online with a broad range of expertise, and the service is available worldwide. And once you make an account, you can log in anytime, send messages, get responses, schedule weekly video or phone sessions, whatever the case. It's more affordable than traditional counseling offline, as they say, actually in-person shit. And who wants to do anything in person these days? But folks, if you go to BetterHelp, that's HELP, betterhelp.com/JCE, you can get 10% off your first month's services. You can join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. BetterHelp.com/JCE, 10% off your first month. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and that's why all of our Drive-Thru listeners get 10% off their first month, because we like them and they like us.